Hey everyone! It is very sunny out here today. Spring has sprung. It is 1 week since the last update. We had our big freeze that should be the last freeze. We should really be into spring now. We should be up in the 70s and 80s later this week. So we're gonna check out the garden and see how things are going. I haven't looked in a few days, so we'll go find out what's happening out here together. Lettuce bed is doing so much better than I thought. It must not have gotten actually to freezing right in this little spot. Nothing looks burned, all looks great. Guinea pigs are going to be very happy to have that. The second bed's empty. This bed has thyme on the corners that's super happy and a few mustard plants. I did throw some cilantro seed in here probably about a week ago, just after the freeze. This mustard bed's doing really great, and I'm hoping this one bolts and gives me some seed soon. I'm growing this for the seed. And this herb bed is starting to come back with lots of oregano and mint. Some thyme in the corner here too, and some parsley that's happy. I don't think, nope, I lied. There are new asparagus shoots. So new asparagus crowns we put in this year have started to put up some shoots. So that takes a couple of years to get really well established, but we should have good asparagus beds going here soon. I need to get out here and weed these this weekend. Chickens are wondering why I didn't bring them food, even though they already had breakfast, but they want more breakfast because they're chickens. Let's see what the garden looks like. So the first bed, we put some strawberry crowns in, but then they froze multiple times. I don't know if they're actually going to put out leaves or not. There are some onions out here on the outside edge. Another giant bunch of thyme that's starting to flower a little bit. And then we start getting into the strawberry plants that are doing well, and they actually have flowers on them. So I guess we're going to be having strawberries pretty soon. There's a little tiny strawberry, some flowers that have come up. We have the thyme over here with the strawberries because they're good companion plants. Need to deal with some of these weeds along the edge here, but doing about like I expect for middle of March. Oh, here's a ladybug friend running away. Does not want to be on camera. There we go. All right, back to work eating pests, little ladybug. These bigger strawberry plants are the ones from last year that overwintered, and they're coming back. That sad little squash plant on the end is a blue Hubbard I put out here last week. It probably just needs water right there. I put one in the bed here, but the rest of the blue Hubbards are actually out along the edge of we call it the forest. It's not really a forest, this little wooded area back here. Our idea is to eventually turn most of this into food. So we are going to do a lot of large, basically winter squash, pumpkins, blue Hubbards, things like that, that really vine out and take up a lot of space. We're going to plant those so that they run into that area and kind of choke out the weeds and grass that come up around there. So I did put some blue Hubbard plants out there. We plant the blue Hubbards as a trap crop. So the blue Hubbards attract squash vine borers. They resist them a little bit better. So we still get some squash. We don't actually eat it, but the chickens love it. You can eat it, it's just not our favorite thing. But we feed it to the chickens, and it keeps the squash vine borers pretty well contained. They don't come after our yellow squash and zucchini if we have the blue Hubbards out here. So that's why we don't really want it in the garden, because we want to draw those pests away from the garden. This carrot bed is doing better than I expected. I see a few weeds. I see some areas that need to be thinned. I see some that haven't germinated yet, but I just put new seed in about a week ago, and carrots take longer to germinate, so that's not surprising. But we definitely have quite a few carrots growing here. We didn't get enough carrots last year to save any, So I'm glad to see this. I want to be able to harvest a bunch of carrots and freeze dry them and have them for soups and things like that in the winter. Third bed, I need to pick up these Christmas lights we put out here to make some warmth during this last freeze. We aren't using them anymore. I just haven't picked them up yet. There are green peas along the edge there that are doing great. They didn't show any damage from the freeze. Onions all down the middle, also doing great. I think I need to plant more onions. We didn't have enough last year. We had enough to can with and to eat fresh, but we didn't have enough to save any. So I definitely want more this year, and I don't think this is going to be enough. So I need to throw some more in the ground before it gets too late. But these peas are happy. The seed packet said the peas were a bush plant, that they didn't climb very much, but that's probably all lies. We are going to put our cattle panel arches on this row. We need to get those arches up today, and that's where they're going to go so the peas can climb if they want to. And then on the other side of the row are the tomatoes, and we will stake the tomatoes to those cattle panel arches also. There's also lights here. It's going to be the first thing I'm going to do today is pick those up. Some of these tomatoes need to be pruned a little bit. Marigolds in between the tomatoes, we found that really helped the tomatoes grow better. I don't fully understand why, or I don't remember why, but when you plant marigolds with tomatoes, it helps with, I want to say nematodes. It helps with something in the soil. Definitely made a difference last year though, so we kept with it this year. I'm also going to throw some basil out here. That's another good companion plant for tomatoes. In the middle we have our onions again, and on the outside edge is garlic that is starting to get brown and just about ready to pick. Didn't grow quite as big as I expected, but I think we'll be able to at least have it for fresh eating. Maybe we'll be able to freeze dry some. This tomato is trying to put out blooms already. I don't think we're going to let that happen just yet. There's a little flower right there. There's another little flower. I have to look back at my journal and see what type of tomato this is. I think it's a Blue Beauty. And some of these tomatoes are not doing so well. Hard to say if that's because of the freeze or because the seedling was not real healthy before it got transplanted. I do have extras in my seedling trays that I'll come in and fill in spaces. But this is going to be our only row of tomatoes this year. Last year we grew a whole lot of tomatoes. I think it was like 90 plants, and we saved lots and lots and lots of tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes and all of that sort of stuff. So we have plenty. We don't need as much this year, so we didn't plant as much. It looks like I actually am going to get one beet on this row maybe. I think we're going to have to give up on beets. I think it's just not going to work for us here. And we planted beans here, but I'm not seeing any sprouts yet. They probably need more water. The yellow squash that I planted out here is also looking pretty droopy and not happy. So we definitely need to get more water out here on this bed. We just laid out drip line on this bed recently, but the stuff that just went in, the drip line doesn't really get good enough. You really kind of still have to water from the top at the beginning. And then once they're better established, then the drip line takes care of it. So that's the garden. It's going pretty good. We did not get much damage from the freeze at all, which is great. It's a nice surprise. Our fruit trees are starting to put out green growth and flowers, so that's nice. We do need to do a little bit more reading and learn a little bit more about how to do the fruit trees properly, how to prune them right, and all of that sort of stuff. It's not something that we are very well versed on yet, so we're going to be working on that. But everything looks like it's going good, and I hope things are going well where you are and you're getting excited for spring. I know we're kind of early down here. Most people are probably still getting their seeds and starting seedlings. We do have seedlings also, but mostly we're planting in the ground at this point. So have a great spring, guys, and we will check in later. Bye.